All right, guys. Thanks for joining me for another interview. Today I have Brick, soccer goalie and basketball player, Sonja Andersen. Sonja, thanks for joining me.
Oh, of course.
How are you doing today?
Good. How are you?
I actually just woke up. I work overnight, so.
Gotcha.
Before we get started, how have you been dealing with you guys just did you guys just finish graduation?
No, we have one more week after this week and then we're done.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Are you guys is Rick planning anything for graduation with
Yeah, we're doing a virtual graduation, but because the governor just came out that we can have a actual like in-person graduation outside, we're having one July 8th now.
I mean that's good. At least some of the schools are able to do that.
Yeah.
Now with all the virtual learning and everything, how have you been able to handle doing schoolwork and classes and whatnot?
Um, it's been good. It hasn't I think the teachers like understand that we're not like in school and it's a little bit more difficult to like grasp knowledge, so they've been a little easier on us, but other than that it hasn't been too bad, but I would rather have been in school for sure.
Uh, One question with that, every school seems to be different. Like I know the Freehold Regional High Schools, basically you wake up in the morning, you have a list of things to do, and you just do them throughout the day whenever you want.
Hmm.
And other schools, from 9 to 2, you're doing work, and everything has to be submitted by 2 o'clock. How's Brick do it?
It's basically like throughout the whole day. You don't have to have it in by a certain time. It does go teacher by teacher. Some teachers just have work and like everything's due at the end of the week, and other teachers they want it done by the end of the day or they give you 2 days, so it kind of depends on the teacher.
Okay. All right, let's move over to sports now. You're interesting because you play two sports. You don't really see that too often these days. But quite a few kids in Brick Township at least, they play soccer and
Yeah.
basketball. When did you start? How old were you when you started playing basketball and soccer?
I started playing soccer when I was probably 5 or 6. I was pretty young, and then basketball I was in fourth grade because that's when like rec I guess starts in Brick at fourth grade for girls. So that's when I started.
Yeah, it seems like basketball kids seem to start a little bit later than soccer.
Yeah.
Did you play any other sports?
No, I only ever played basketball and soccer.
Okay. Um, you have any siblings?
Yeah, I have a twin sister, Jean.
And does she play any sports?
She plays soccer.
So how is it, having a twin sister, playing the same sport? It's pretty unique.
Yeah, I mean, it was always something that like we did together and stuff like that, so that was nice. And like even trying out for teams and stuff like that. I remember when we tried out for our travel team, like we always knew we had like each other to it's not like we didn't know anyone, so that was always nice to have.
Yeah, I mean that's a good point. When younger, what, 7 years old, 8 years old, when usually people start playing traveling soccer. Could be a little scary going on tryouts, not knowing somebody. But that's a good point. Having you had somebody there that you knew already.
Yeah.
How about your parents? How they helped you in your development? Through the years.
Yeah, I mean, my dad, he used to coach me in soccer when I was younger, and then ended up stopping doing that. But like, he played soccer when he was younger, so having him was nice. And my mom played basketball, so like that's kind of how I started playing basketball. But they were just always supportive, and they weren't like the type of parents that forced me into anything. So I know a lot of kids they end up like losing interest and like the love of the game just because their parents kind of forced them into a lot of things, and like it was always our choice, never their choice in what we're doing. So
I mean, that's great. just being a fan, going to these games, I see that firsthand, parents forcing kids,
Yeah.
to keep playing, they have no more
Hmm.
interest. Now we'll talk a little bit about soccer. What teams you play for? Rec, travel, whatnot.
Yeah. So I started off playing like rec, and then I ended up joining a travel team in Twin County, and I was on that team since second grade until my sophomore year of high school. The team kind of, I think at that age, everyone's kind of realizing whether they're gonna play, like wanting to play in college and take it more serious or not. So the team it folded just because the girls that wanted to take it serious moved to teams like in PDA and stuff like that. And the girls that were just kind of there for fun, like didn't see the point in spending the money. So um, it folded, and that's when I stopped playing travel, just because I didn't really see myself playing in college, so I didn't want to like spend the money and stuff like that if I wasn't gonna play in college.
I mean, it's good insight though, because academy soccer. I know my niece is starting to play.
Mm.
Get to that level, and it's going to cost a lot of money.
Yeah,
And if she's not going to be interested in pursuing it, might as well stick with like club and travel teams
yeah.
instead of having your parents put that money out.
Hmm.
How about basketball? Same thing. Did rec or travel ball?
Yeah, I mean,
And I
I always played rec until like seventh grade, and then I stopped doing that. And then after I stopped playing travel soccer, because they're both in the same season, so it's kind of hard to play travel basketball and soccer. I ended up joining an AAU team in the spring, and I did that um, after during my sophomore year and my junior year of high school, and it was with Mike Goronsky. He's the boys coach at Brick. He had a
okay.
girls AAU team, so I joined that team.
All right. Who are some of the players you played with for AAU?
Emma Carpino, Lauren Washko, um, a few girls from Lacey and the Toms River schools. So it wasn't like crazy serious. It was more just like getting better for high school and having fun. Like we did a few tournaments and stuff like that. So
That's great. Moving on to high school, talk a little bit about academics and athletics. First, you're going into high school. What kind of goals you set, for soccer? Soccer's the first season. What kind of goals did you maybe set? Showing up at tryouts, your first year in high school.
yeah, I mean, I knew that like the soccer team was like pretty strong already, and there weren't a lot of spots. So obviously, I wanted to make varsity, but I wasn't like expecting much because I knew that they had a lot of players returning and there weren't a lot of spots. So, but I mean, I was just going there hoping to, maybe get swing. And even if I did just make JV, but like starting and getting minutes there and like having Coach B see that. So
Yeah. Big public schools like Brick, Freehold, especially they're very always been talented with soccer.
mhm.
So usually, when you come in as a freshman or even a sophomore, it takes time to earn your minutes because the big schools like that always have talented
Yeah,
upperclassmen
yeah.
that and they had to wait their turn. So that's how it usually works in the public school.
Mhm.
Who who is this soccer coach at Brick?
Mike Berardinelli. We call him Coach B though.
Mhm. And he was there all 4 years.
Yeah.
So how about basketball? Going, your freshman year of basketball, what kind of goals did you have when you showed up tryouts basketball?
With basketball, I definitely did want to make varsity, and I was hoping to get some minutes playing, just because the basketball program was not as strong, and like I know my class wanted to like go in and hopefully make varsity and like definitely get minutes playing. So
Yeah, when I was going through your stats for basketball, there was definitely, since freshman year, you've been playing and, putting up good numbers. So that's pretty impressive. Moving on to sophomore year, what were some goals you had, for both sports your sophomore year?
Well, sophomore year was when I started playing goalie for soccer because I used to be a defender.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so I didn't start playing goalie until sophomore year because we needed a backup, and my coach Brian Blue, he was like, you should give it a go. Like, you play basketball, so you should be good with the ball in your hands and stuff like that. So that's when I started playing soccer, goalie for soccer. So definitely going into that, I wanted to learn that position better, and it was a lot of fun actually. And I wish I started playing younger. And then for basketball, after I started most of my freshman year, so I definitely wanted to add more to the team and get more points up and stuff like that. My sophomore year, get more comfortable on the court. So
that makes it you just picking up goalie as a sophomore makes it even more impressive. I saw you play a couple games for soccer. I saw you guys play more basketball, but I saw the Jackson Memorial game. I know you guys lost, but you were very impressive in that. And now knowing that you only played goalie for a couple of years makes it even more impressive.
thank you.
Moving on to your junior year, the girls soccer team, they end up winning Central Jersey group title. Talk about that experience. How was that, winning that title?
That was a really great experience for me. I mean, I was only backup goalie, but being part of that team was watching every game. It was so exciting, and definitely something I won't ever forget. It was just we never expected coming into that season that we would get that far, and it really does show that it doesn't really matter if you're a big you have big stars on your team or whatnot, but we just worked hard and were able to work together, and we got to where we got. So that was really cool.
Okay. I think I remember actually, yeah, even when you guys won, the media, any articles, it was kind of, not shocking, but, surprised that, the team, wasn't supposed to go that far.
Yeah.
But I mean, Brick's always had, talented players, both Old Brick and Brick Memorial.
Mm-hmm.
Now moving to your senior year, what kind of goals did you set yourself for soccer?
Well, this was senior year is when I was getting, my shot at playing. So I was definitely nervous, especially after a winning season like we had the year before. I knew I had high expectations, and filling in Molly Tully's spot. She did a great job the year before, so I was definitely nervous, but I was excited and I felt ready to get in there and start playing. So I definitely wanted to get as far, if not further. That was definitely our team's goals before the season than we did the past year. Fortunately, that didn't happen, but definitely still a good season. If we are hard on ourselves because we didn't get as far, but if you look at our numbers, we still had a good winning season, so can't be mad about that.
Yeah, you guys. We'll talk about a couple of the games. I just want to go through a couple players you played with. How was it playing, 4 years with your sister, in high
Yeah,
school?
I mean, that was always fun. We're most people think twins are best friends. We're definitely not those types of twins. We have our separate friend groups and stuff like that and hobbies, but one thing we always did have was soccer. Whether we always had the car rides home and to practice and games and stuff like that. So we were able to talk about that. So it was always nice having her and to play with and everything like that.
Yeah. Another player I want, your thoughts, Reese, watching her play, a very impressive player. How is she, as a teammate, and, what does she mean on the field?
Yeah, Reese was definitely a big asset to the team. She came in her sophomore year, which we all wish she was here freshman year, but she was fun to play with. Always someone you can count on up top. I definitely enjoyed playing with her, and like I know she has a lot of knowledge. She's been on great teams and stuff like that, so it was fun to watch her play, even like sitting in the goal and stuff, watching her work her magic up top was always fun. So
Yeah. And it looks like a good core of the team is coming back next season, so they should have another good
yeah,
year.
the junior class this year, they're definitely strong. So I'm excited to see what they can do next year.
That's great. Yeah, that's great. Now, playoffs. You guys played Trinity Hall the first game, right? That was the first game, I'm
Yes.
sure. Now, I knew Trinity Hall. I got to see them during the season. I did not think they were a 22 seed, and I felt that was a bad matchup for you. Talk that game, tough loss. What was the team thinking after that game?
Yeah, I mean, going into the game, we knew they shouldn't have been seeded 22. They were definitely better than that. But I don't think that we expected them to be as good as they were. So I don't think we were ready mentally for that. After the game, we were obviously like disappointed, but we knew we still had states in front of us, so we had that to look forward to. It wasn't the end all, but definitely something we wish we could go back and do again. Hopefully, get a different outcome.
You guys move on to states. You lose a tough game to Colts Neck in a shootout. Now, I hate playoff games that are decided in shootouts. It really doesn't determine much. How did that feel? And losing such a tough game in such a tough way.
Yeah, I mean, Colts Neck. We always last year, like the season before my junior year, we played them 3 times. They were tough competitors, always good games, and our new assistant coach actually used to coach them, so it was always kind of a rivalry. We wanted to get that win for her, but always enjoyed playing them, and we did really want to get that win. So I think we weren't on our game completely, and luckily at the end we were able to tie it up to go into overtime, and unfortunately it went to shootout, and we just did not have our day in that. And Colts Neck hit every shot. They were really good at penalties, so that game definitely stung a little bit, and wish it could have gone differently. But overall, you can't really do much about it now, I guess.
But I mean, at least you guys did get to win that, one Central Jersey Group title. So not a lot of kids could say that. Now, some highlights. I mean, looking at your stats for soccer, you had a pretty good year in goal. You had over 100 saves, and I think 9 shutouts I counted. That's a pretty impressive season.
Yeah, I mean, when I was in it, I didn't feel like I was like doing anything crazy, but I look back and I'm proud of the numbers I was able to put up. I mean, it definitely helped. Like, I had a very strong defense. I had both Paige Noonan and Tierney Garkowski. They were seniors with me and captains with me, and they helped get me to where I was going shutout wise. A lot of times they get a lot of credit for those too.
Yeah. I mean that's a great outlook. When teams get shutouts, it's not just a goal. You got defenders that do a lot of work. The whole team, especially sport like soccer. Now moving to basketball, your senior year, what were some goals you had, for your last season?
We definitely wanted to get more wins than we did before, and I knew I was going to be one of the leaders on the team, so I definitely wanted to have a big role. We had a strong group of seniors, and I knew I was going to be playing with all of them, and the girls that I've been playing with them since I was in 6th grade, so I was really looking forward to the season, and we were hoping to get into states and maybe win a state game. So yeah, those were definitely the goals going in to the season.
Who are the coaches for basketball?
I have Coach Stockoff's the head coach, and then we have Coach Aldiero, he was assistant coach, and then we call him Coach Hammer. He was the new JV coach and also assistant varsity, so he was really fun having to come in because he has just like a lot of knowledge on the game. So
Yeah, I actually grew up with Coach Aldero and Pete, so I've
yeah,
known them forever. You know, I think probably one of the best staffs in the shore. You know, they don't get the recognition, because Brick traditionally, not
yeah,
really a basketball school. But how the three of them helped you, not just your senior year, but through your
yeah. I
career.
mean,
I know Pete's joined the staff, but Nick's been there a couple
yeah.
of years.
Definitely like a huge reason like to why I was like love basketball and stuff. Like coming into high school, I did really enjoy playing, but I wasn't like like I love basketball so much now, and I give a lot of that to them. Coach Stockoff, like he really helped me with like my confidence since freshman year. I would be so hard on myself, and now, you know, he always said, look good, felt good, next one is good, shot wise, and so he was just always there to like encourage me, and then Coach Aldero helped me so much with like my skill wise and dribbling and stuff like that. I know I'm not like I don't look like the traditional guard. I'm not like small and quick, but he definitely helped me a lot with like my ball handling. And then Coach Hammer, he like has so much knowledge for the game of basketball, and like just like the way he sees the court definitely helped, and even like post moves and stuff like that, he helped a lot. So they definitely like I give them a lot of credit.
Yeah, to me, it's like one of the perfect staffs because each has their own
Yeah.
little expertise and to help the team. I want to talk about a couple of your teammates. First Emma. It seemed like you and her were the leaders of the team. Uh, how's it playing with
I
Emma?
love playing with Emma. Freshman sophomore year she was always more into soccer, and basketball was for fun, and then junior year she like flipped on a dime and was like, you know what, I want to take basketball more seriously, and she trained super hard off season, and she became a great player, and I wish I could play with her another year. um we were, our pick and rolls and stuff like that, it was always fun getting her the ball, and she just went to that net hard. I loved it was fun playing with her. She was always worked hard, never gave up. So
Yes, that one off season you're talking about, Coach Aldero was posting videos of training videos, and it was always hard work,
yeah,
working hard, and it was impressive to watch. How about Erica? She played soccer with you. How's it, playing two sports with the same person? What kind of
yeah.
bond you
I
have with
mean,
her?
I've known Erica was the reason I started playing soccer. Actually, I've known her forever. Our parents are good friends, so like growing up and playing both sports with her was always fun. I'm super proud of her with soccer. She's playing in college, so basketball was always her second sport, but she still like loved it so much. We had a lot of fun playing together. So
I mean, that's great. And then you had two other seniors, right?
three. Yeah,
Angelina, number three.
Angelina,
Angelina.
yeah. So played with her like all since middle school as well. Always fun playing with her. She was a huge asset with her threes, so that was always fun getting her the ball and getting that assist. And then Lauren Washko, who unfortunately like was injured a lot with her knees, but she was a huge asset even off the court with she was almost like a second coach. She knows so much about basketball, so I wish I could have played with her more, but she definitely was a huge asset, off the court. And then Emily, who she started playing varsity minutes, I would say, last year, and she's just a super hard worker. Um, Never gave up, like relentless on defense and stuff like that. It was fun playing with her. You could always count on her to like uh just never give up. It was fun playing with her. So
I mean, and that's good sign of good coaches too. Your team. The games I went to, you guys never gave up. Even if you were trailing, you guys played to the
hmm
final whistle, which is great to watch. Now, moving on to academics. Talk a little bit now. You won the Presidential Scholarship Award. What is that, and what exactly? Just explain
At
that a
UDEL,
little bit.
like the scholarship I got. Yeah, it's an award they give for like academic achievement and just like uh being part of things in school and stuff like that. It's I got 15,000 a year from them with that scholarship, so that was really cool. I mean, definitely helped make my decision easier to go there just because I did get good money. So yeah.
So, yeah, we'll talk a little bit. So, you're going to University of Delaware. Do you know what you want to study?
Yeah, I want to be a physician's assistant. So my major is medical diagnostics with like a pre-physician's assistant track. So
Oh, wow, that's pretty impressive. Um, a couple more achievements you had. The coach Kevin kind of hinted me off at this. You won WOBM Student of the Week. When did that happen, and how was that
I
winning that
think
award?
I'm pretty sure it was like February or maybe more March. Kind of forget exactly, but that was definitely cool. Hearing me on the radio, that was cool, and they sent me like a certificate in the mail and stuff like that. Definitely nice, like being recognized for like academics and athletics. So yeah, that was really cool.
That is pretty impressive. I didn't even know the WOBM did that, but I'll have to
Yeah.
start keeping a lookout for that. Last, you're part of the
Yes.
National Honor Society. I mean, that's a pretty good achievement just in itself. And I was told you serve a historian. What does that
Yeah,
entail?
I'm just like in charge of keeping like records for NHS, almost like who like event pick like I take pictures at events a lot, and I was in charge of putting together a slideshow for the induction ceremony. And then just overall, just like one of the chair members. So like if anyone has questions to come to and stuff like that. So
That's great. That's great. I mean, it seems like you definitely have your head on your shoulders for academics, and you're gonna have a lot of success. Getting ready to wrap up. What kind of advice can you give kids, that want to play, more than one sport and achieve grades that obviously you got very high grades and achieve grades and keep the academics as
I
high as you
mean,
do?
I would definitely say that playing multiple sports helps you more than it hurts you. I think staying involved in school gets you like motivates you to do better. And I think it gives you a schedule. So like, all right, I have practice, and then like when you have that time to sit down and do your homework or study, like you're gonna do it because I have practice. I'm not gonna have time later. So it definitely like sets you up and like makes you kind of responsible with that kind of thing. Um, and then academic wise, like while like the grades matter, I was always just like, what's gonna set me up best for college. So, taking those AP classes and stuff like that, definitely something I recommend for students coming into high school or whatnot. And yeah, I would, even if you don't plan on playing in college sports, I would play high school no matter what. It's like such a great experience. And being part of two programs, you can always take things you liked from one program and bring it to the other. We kind of did that with basketball. There was just a lot of tradition with soccer, so stuff like pasta parties and other traditions and stuff we have, I brought into the basketball program to like get some tradition there. So I think that's another pro of playing two sports. You can kind of pick what you like from one and bring it to the other if it's lacking.
I mean that's great. And talking to some kids in college now, the best times is spending times with the teammates in high school, whether it's the bus ride or
Hmm.
the pasta parties, like you said. You make
Yeah.
some really strong bonds. All right, so now I appreciate you joining me, and
Yeah,
thank you, and
thank
I
you
wish
for
you luck
having
at
me.
Delaware. And well, we'll talk soon.